So working with tubeless tires is one of those essential skills that's good to know right now, especially with COVID and bike shops being super busy. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys all the tools that you need in order to be successful doing tubeless tire changes at home. So the first thing you're going to need has nothing to do with the tire, but everything to do with your clothes. You know, I've replaced many a tubeless tire on the channel on various tutorial videos, and it is a big mess. So you definitely want some kind of apron to protect your clothing because the sealant is super sticky and it's really hard to get out of clothing, if not impossible. So if you're going to do it with any kind of regularity, an apron is a big plus. I'll put a link to all these things in the description below. This one is a canvas apron, super cheap, get it on Amazon. Another plus with these aprons is it's got lots of space for all the tools and everything that you need to work on your bike. Okay, so the next thing I would recommend, again in the theme of keeping things clean, especially if you live in a small apartment, is some kind of drop cloth. So this is just some plastic wrapping from something we bought, but you could use a sheet of Tyvek or some trash bags, because inevitably, no matter how careful you are, the sealant's just going to spill. That's just a fact of life. So one tool I would recommend is a valve core removal tool. Yes, you can get away with a small wrench, or maybe your multi-tool might have something that functions like this. But if you do it with any regularity, these things are super useful. And what they basically do is they latch onto the Presta valve here and allow you to really easily remove it so you can empty the tire of air. Not a whole lot of air in here, or there is air, but it's it's super clogged up. Also good to have a pokey thing, apparently. Should always have zip ties. So this one is by Stan's. You know, there's different tool manufacturers that make their own. But again, if you work with tubeless tires with any regularity, these are good to have. I'm gonna just quickly pop this off. And one thing, if you've never worked on tubeless at home, is that some tires and some rim combinations are definitely easier than others. This Rene Erst tire, super supple and super easy to remove. Okay, so another good tool to have, you should already have this whether you're working on tubeless tires or not, is some kind of tire lever. Again, this will help you get your tires off when you're making a tire change. I like these Pedro's ones because they're plastic and they won't mar the rim or do any damage to your rim as easily as a metal one. And you can see sealant already kind of oozing out, but because of the drop cloth and the apron, really protects your stuff. If you've never worked with a tubeless tire before, you'll see down here, this is the magical stuff that makes it happen. It's called sealant. It's basically a liquid latex that fills in all the nooks and crannies so the tire and the rim will hold air. Likewise, if you get a puncture, that's the stuff that kind of boogers up and seals the puncture. So another thing that you'll want, let's say you're swapping tires, you'll want a place where you can remove the sealant and put the sealant in some kind of temporary holding container. And if you're very artisanal, you can get a mason jar or something like that. A plastic cup will do. And you're looking at the sealant, you're wondering, how do I get this in here without making a hot mess? Well, my friends, this is the hot tip, and that is getting a turkey baster. Probably one of the best investments you can do if you're working with tubeless. This was like 99 cents at the supermarket. And if you zoom in, you'll see why. So that's a good way of transferring sealant from tire to your container. Another thing that you could use, if let's say you don't have access to a turkey baster for some reason, is if when you buy one of the small portable sealant things, these can also be used to siphon up residual sealant, and also using it to install it, or using this to put the sealant back in via the valve core. If you do go this route, one thing you'll notice is some have caps that don't seal. This one is a specialized travel sealant thing, and it's got a twist-on cap, so you can use this, refill it with other brands of sealant. Some, like the stands, you chop open the top and it's not reusable, but definitely look for the ones that are like this. So I'm not going to go into taping, but if you do have to tape your rim, obviously you'll need some rim tape. This is stands. It's okay. I've also used Gorilla Tape in the past. Just pick your flavor, but you will inevitably need some rim tape. And of course, sealant. This is by Orange Seal. I've used stands in the past. I'm trying this stuff out just to see how it compares. But basically, they all work the same. Some have varying degrees of dry time, like some will stay wet longer, some will dry up a lot quicker, and will need more frequent replenishment, all that good stuff. So do your research. But I've heard good things about Orange Seal, so that's why I'm trying this out. So let's say that this is a completely different tire. I have it half mounted. You want to put sealant back into said tire. At this point, you could just easily pour this in here. Or if you want to be a little bit neater, you can remount the tire completely, or get the tire on, not remount completely. When you do this step, you want to use your hands as much as possible and not a tool. All right, so let's get to the tricky part. One of the big challenges with a tubeless system is seating the tire. So you can see it's kind of half on here, but it's not, the bead isn't sticking to the side of the rim. So in order for this to happen, you really have to shoot in a bunch of air to kind of force the tire out. You can do this with some pumps. They let you fill up a tank and then you can release the air all at once. I used to have that system, but if you're doing it with any regularity, you're better off getting an air compressor. This is a Porter and Cable pancake compressor. I'm not quite sure why it's called a pancake compressor because it's still fairly big. This was actually purchased for us by a very generous reader, so thank you, Felix. So when you get a compressor, chances are it may not come with a hose. So you want to make sure you've got a complete kit so that it comes with a hose. And also, another thing you will have to buy for your compressor is some kind of attachment which connects to the hose and lets you fill up air in the PITA valve. So I forget the specific brand, I'll put it in the description below, but basically this mates up perfectly with the PITA valve core. One thing to know about compressors is they're hella loud. I'm going to turn it on for a hot second here. So it's basically like running a lawnmower. If you live in an apartment, one good technique is to fill it up with air outside, unplug it, because it actually doesn't need to be plugged in to run, and bring it inside and release the air that way. So let's say this is filled up. I've brought it indoors into the apartment. Let's seat this tire. And it'll snap into place. And you can see why you want an air compressor. It just makes the job so much easier. Yes, there are other ways. You can use those kind of chamber style pumps. Some people have also had good success just using CO2 canisters. I've done that on occasion, but depending on how hard the tire rim combination is to fit, you might not be as successful. Definitely air compressor is the most foolproof way, but you can get away with different methods. I've seated the bead, and now it's time to put the sealant back in here. And this is where something like reusing an old portable sealant thing comes in handy, because you can literally just refill it. Actually going to put in some more sealant here while I'm doing this. Okay, whoops. You can see why having a drop cloth is handy. Even if you're super careful, things will inevitably go wrong. Okay, so that's sealed up. This is sealed up. And we're going to take our thing here, place it back in the PITA hole, and just kind of feed it in. So I typically like this method rather than filling the sealant in while the tire is open, because you might have problems seating it and it just becomes a hot mess just like that. So all right, so we're going to fill it back up with air. I'm putting in the valve core here, finger tight, using our tool. And let's hit it with another thing of air. It's definitely a little clogged, guys, but it's working very slowly. All right, we are getting the pressure. Okay, so as you guys can see, tubeless, anyone that tells you it's super easy might be lying to you. It is a little bit less difficult after you've done it a couple times, but I don't think it's nearly as intuitive as a tube system. But yeah, this is how I do it at home. And hopefully this video will help you out so you can do your own tubeless work at home without taking it to a bike shop in these crazy times. Again, all the links to these products are going to be in the description. If you have any other questions, leave those in the comments below. What I leave out, let me know. And until next time, keep the supple side down.